I've got a digital voice recorder on my head. Yeah. I want to make lunch while I chat with you. So, lunch. Lunch today, as it's been for days and days and days, is butter-fried turkey bacon wrapped around pickled eggs. And I've got sushi. I'll save that for supper. So, we got turkey bacon. And I've got pickled eggs. And if there's anything I want to give you advice about pickled eggs, don't use red wine for the color. The color you get is really horrible. Get down from there, Timmy. No. He's starting to do that, jump on my desk. It was cute yesterday, but now it's just something I have to train out of him. So, here we go. Yeah. Pickled eggs do not work well in red wine. It's gross. But that's all right. They taste as good as they ever did. I've developed a taste for pickled eggs. So I make lots of them. Go through a lot of vinegar. I sure hope this audio works. It's kind of goofy putting it on your head. And I don't have any butter in the pan yet, so it's going to be heating up and cooking, and I'm walking funny. I feel like one of those girls that are practicing their balance with the books on their head. There, I got a great big cube of butter. It's massive. I mean, massive big old cube of butter from the Wandering Market. I am so frustrated today because I finally went, okay, I can't put it off any longer. I can't wait for more income. I can't wait to pay the bills. I got to go do my Wandering Market order. And the Wandering Market tends to be really expensive for me. So I was putting it off because, I had to pay for my tattoo, which was expensive. And unfortunately, the order form is closed. They're not accepting orders anymore, so I missed out. And they got lots of stuff there on the Sunday when they show up, so, or whatever the day is. Yeah, it's a Sunday. So I can still go there and buy stuff, and the only problem with that is, will I remember? I know, I should put it in my calendar. Speaking of remember, it was 11:30 before I did the dog's eardrops. I went to the vet, and I got $125 worth of stuff for the dog's ears. This rescue dog is costing me a lot. The 3 different processes, each to be done every 12 hours, and each of them 2 hours apart. How am I supposed to do that? I mean, I can't follow a schedule at the best of times, and now they want me to do this insane. No, I'm sorry. I'll do my best, but the reality is, it was 11:30 before I even put the cleaner in her ears, which means it's 1:30 before I put the first medicine in her ears, and I go to bed at 10, so I'm not going to be doing it again in 12 hours. Damn dog anyway. Now, I can't remember what I'm after. Oh yeah, some cheese. Well, I don't know where my Gouda went, but I'll just have some cheese curds with it. I like to have a little cheese with it, too. It's a pretty high protein lunch. I actually eat a pretty high protein diet. I really ought to have a piece of fruit with all this, too, so the camera's going to show nothing, and I'm going to keep talking, and you'll hear me as I walk downstairs into the pantry. Underneath the stairs, we have a little cupboard that keeps cooler than the rest of the house, and it's perfect for keeping all of our goods, including apples and bananas and whatnot. So, and I have to bring up some of this canned stock because I'm going to make a soup later today. Oh, and that reminds me, I've got a box of miso bouillon that I like to have as a hot beverage. Tea and coffee aren't the only ways to have your hot beverage. So there's my canned stock. As far as I can tell, it worked. There's no bubbling, there's no odor, there's no, and the top is dented in. So I'm going to make soup later today. And these are the apples from the Wandering Market, and they're quite lovely. So I'll have that with my lunch. And how's the bacon? Time to flip it. So, this is how we do. Oh, yeah. I have to bring the camera over here and show you this trick. how I wrap the eggs. This is cute. Yeah, isn't that fun? All right, so let's see. And pinch it down. All right. So this bacon's ready for the job. So I take the bacon, and you got to do it while it's hot because bacon is flexible when it's hot, but then it stops being flexible. And this works with turkey as well as regular. And wrap. By the time it cools, it will continue to hug that egg faithfully so you can pick it up and eat it. There, like that, see? Lunch. Nom, 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 nom. What's that noise? You mean, can you hear the noise? Can you hear that noise? Let me see if you can hear it. What's that? What's that? Oh, hello, Piper. What you got, Piper? Is that a bone? You got a soup bone? Oh, yum nummeries. And little Timmy Timkins is happy too because he's got sunshine. And there's nothing the little dude loves better than a little bit of sunshine. Sunshine. Oh, you want to see all the pets today? All right, let's do that. There's Sammy. What you doing, Sammy? Hi, how you doing? Sammy gets scared. He's a bird. Birds are frightening. Birds are always scared. It's what they are. Oh, more birds. More birds. These guys, these are the birds that won't die, even though I really kind of wish they would. I like him. I wish he was in a smaller cage. But I really can't take from him the large cage, even though he's the only one left in it. Those guys can't go in it because they get to fighting and screaming, and I need to be able to take them and put them downstairs. So, how's about I show you Toby? I haven't checked on him today. He might be dead. I don't know. When they're 14 years old, dwarf rabbits live longer than regular rabbits, but when they get this old, every time you check on them, you're like, is he dead yet? And, nope. Cute, isn't he? Oh, my light's going all blinky blank. That's because it's incandescent. I've actually got an incandescent light bulb. I can't show you. The camera can't do that. That is Toby. Hello, Toby. Toby hasn't finished his greens from last night. And he's wondering if I'm going to give him any fresh food. If you're not here to feed me, go away. That's where Toby's coming from. You can't pet this guy. Here, we'll give it a try. We'll try and pet him. See? He doesn't like to be touched. See? He's not Mr. Pettable. Never has been. I got him since he was a kitten, and unfortunately, he bonded with the other rabbits instead of with me. And so that's all he's ever been, is little Mr. Grumpy Pants. Little Mr. Grumpy Pants. You can't play with him. So let's see. Miso. That's right. I said I was going to have some miso, didn't I? Miso is nummy. I like this stuff. It's good for you. I could put stock cubes in it too. Let's put you back here on the counter. Oh, nice and pretty. Staring at the kitchen. Oh, I haven't had my morning coffee yet either. The things I haven't done today. So, 2 mugs. Yeah, you're right underneath the dishes cupboard, so. How do you like my armpit? This one's ripped. Yeah, I used to care about that stuff. I used to have vanity. I used to care what people saw when they looked at me. Present my best appearance. I lost interest. I lost it. She's lost it. She's letting herself go. Yep. And you know what? It's okay. You don't have to look attractive. There's nobody to attract at the age of 54, and I'm married, and frankly, if this marriage doesn't last, I'm going to stay single forever. I really don't need to go. What's this? This is coffee. Yeah, you're not seeing what I'm doing here. This is coffee. I use a French press. I put the coffee in the bottom, then I put filtered water, and then I leave it overnight, and then I plunger it down and pour it off into a jar. And I've got coffee. It's called cold brew. And I could heat it up in the microwave if I wanted to, but every time I do that, I find that the flavor goes off. somehow, and yes, I'm standing in Timmy's sunlight. Oh, there goes the miso, all finished. Somehow, I don't know why, it tastes less wonderful when I heat it up. It tastes more like regular hot coffee, which, I don't know, there's a sewery sort of a flavor to coffee that I don't like sometimes. It's hard to even explain it, but it's like bad breath undertones. I don't know. Does that make any sense? Have you ever experienced that bad breath undertone in the coffee? It's really strong in drip filter coffee makers that don't get cleaned properly. But I find that since I've developed a palate with the cold brew, that it's even there in warmed up coffee. So I just don't anymore. How long do I put in the miso? That's 2 minutes and 222. There you go. Nice and simple. Then we got your maple syrup. Maple syrup. Num num num. That goes in the coffee. Yeah, I wish you were here too. This would be more fun if you were here because, well, granted, I wouldn't be able to do all the talking. Well, I'd do anyway. No, I actually like having other people talk if they can keep the stream going. I don't like it if they get me talking and then they interrupt me constantly. I don't like it if I stop talking to give them a turn and they don't do anything. So they either are keeping up a constant yap stream and I can just sit back and listen, or we're managing to parlay back and forth in a proper, polite manner, or I'll just do all the talking like they're just a camera that I'm talking to. But the one thing I don't like is they get me going and then they seize the conversation and won't let me talk anymore. Either talk constantly so that you're like an entertainment, or share the conversation. One or the other. One of us can talk constantly. And oh, don't get me started on group conversations. I fail at those. I absolutely, utterly, completely fail. I can't do them. I want to, I'd love to, and I don't know that I'm failing when I'm doing it, but I know afterwards when all the complaints come in. Now, this cannot be sent to the pop bottle guys because it's not a beverage, even though it's a Tetra Pak. So I won't get any money for this, but it does go in the recycle bin. See, but by the same token, even though I do drink it as a beverage, it's not classified as a beverage. This, on the other hand, is classified as a beverage, so I actually get money back for this one. But then they don't charge money on them. Hoo-wee. Oh, yeah. I've got these. I was bad yesterday. I bought cake and meatloaf and Brussels sprouts and socks for Dan. But then I also bought, you know how rare it is to find meringue cookies? 3 whole packages of meringue cookies. Yes, I did. Bad girl. Meringue's not bad because it's egg white, and so it's mostly just protein, but it's still sugar. Sugar. And I'm going to be fat, but I'm going to gain back any weight that I lost last week when I was eating very little. Because not only that, but I also bought one of those Christmas packs of chocolate-covered everything. Nuts and raisins and things. And you know I'm going to get into those. And I have a thing for Chicago-style popcorn. Chicago popcorn is cheddar mixed with caramel corn. And I was going by the caramel corn, and what I've done the last couple of times is bought a little bit of caramel corn and then bought something like Cheesies to put in it. Exactly. Bad junk food. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not doing it. Hey, wait a minute. They've got the Chicago style pre-made. I fell for it. And once the food is in the house, that's it. You're going to eat it. Sorry. Truth is, you can't expect to have willpower sitting in front of the food. The only time when you can exercise willpower over food is while you're at the store. If you don't do it then, you won't do it at all. So, but one of the tricks to hopefully cutting back on how much you eat, aside from having a partner to whom you give half of it, is to portion it before you eat it. and put the package away. And yeah, I know, you go back and get some more out of the package. But you have to make that conscious decision to go back and get more out of the package, and that helps immensely. So, has our half hour come up? I haven't talked about anything useful today, and that's probably a nice break for all of us. Do we really need to sit here and talk about ranty stuff? So, what did I do yesterday? Well, I went, like I said, I went to the vet. I didn't have to take the dog with me. She had a standing prescription, so I went to pick that up. And as I say, it's a complicated, difficult prescription. You know, I think I'm going to try and put this recorder, pardon the noise now, you're going to get a bunch of it. I'm going to put this down on the desk now that I'm stationary, because that really feels funny. And yeah, my hair's ugly. That's all right. The thing is, I'm masculinizing it, and until it grows out a little bit more, it's going to look ugly. Oh gosh, this thing's not doing anything. You suppose it's not recording? There isn't even a light on it. This whole blog could be failed. Maybe I should quit now and upload it. Oh, there's a red light on it. So we're good. We're still getting sound. We're still getting a proper audio, as you can hear the dog going off. So, have some coffee. Yeah, so I went, the vet's across town, and I was ill-timed enough to hit rush hour, so I spent a lot of time just sort of sitting in the car watching traffic around me and playing games of don't get so close to my bumper with people parking behind me. You see, when you're at a red light, you think, oh, we're parked, nothing can happen. So you just crawl right up. And I don't know what it is, but many people when they're driving will just creep forward. They're just sitting there at a red light, but they can't keep their foot on the brake. They creep forward. So one of the things that I'll do when I'm at a red light is I'll stop further back than I need to. And when the guy behind me has stopped, always too close to me, I'll creep forward a little bit. And then I'll buffer that zone, because the thing is, I've seen it happen. I've been in an accident where it's happened. One person at the back of the line careens into the back of somebody, okay? You've got a lineup of cars, 3 or 4 maybe, and someone doesn't stop and hits the back of the line. For whatever reason, they hit the car, and that car goes forward, and because there's not enough buffer zone, hits the car in front of them. Now you've got a car with both ends mashed, and a car that's traveling now up the line. If you've ever seen those little balls on the strings that you go click, and this one goes flying, that's exactly what happens to the line of cars. And it travels up this accident will travel up the line of the cars until its energy is exhausted. And one of the ways that you can exhaust that energy, avoid injury, is to have enough buffer zone between your bumper and the guy in front of you. And the driver's handbook, where engineers have sat down and figured this stuff out, states that if you can see the back wheels of the car in front of you in front of your hood, like you've got your hood, and then you can see the tires just in front of that. That's enough buffer zone that if someone hits you from behind, your brakes can do their job and you won't get jammed violently into their bumper. You might tap them, but you're not going to make a violent crash go all the way up the line. I'm very aware of this. I'm also aware of the fact that my engine is just behind my seat and the bumper is just behind that. I've got, I think, 3 feet between me and the back of my car. So when you're another 3 feet off the back of my car, I'm very sensitive to that. And I had this one guy in traffic would not stop creeping forward. It was infuriating. I even turned around in my seat and looked out the back window at him. And he was just... I was like, we're waiting in a long line of cars, you moron. Keep your foot on the brake and let me get some buffer. I even did this like fast forward, sudden stop. Kind of trying, and you know, lots of brakes flashing, trying to communicate to this guy behind me that I'm uncomfortable with how close he is in front of me. But my comfort is not his problem, you see. He doesn't respect other people enough to care about their feelings, their comfort, or whether or not they might actually know something he doesn't know. Like, what I say about the chain reaction accident. So I was just getting aggravated. And normally when traffic is aggravating me, what I'll do is I'll pull off and I'll let the aggravation go. If it's a person behind me, I'll pull off, let him pass and come in behind. If it's a person in front of me, I'll pull off and give him time to get well enough ahead of me so I'm not constantly trying to slow down enough. You know, some people, they like to drive so slow that you're like, la, 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 la. And you're actually less safe because you get bored enough to stop paying attention to your driving. That's the problem I have with school zones. I actually get like, I'm driving 30 kilometers an hour through a school zone where there's kids, and the very speed I'm going actually makes me pay less attention than if I was driving just 10 kilometers faster. I really think that 30 is too slow. 35 or 40 is a better speed for that because you still feel like you're connected. So anyway, I'll pull off and I'll let the aggravation pass, but we're in 3 lanes of stop traffic. There's nothing I can do about this guy. I'm just getting steamed. And finally we get through, and he does a whole, I'm going to get away from this crazy driver up ahead of me, and goes around me. And the grin just spreads across my face. Yes, he's gone. Yes, I can drive like a normal human again. There's nothing I hate worse than tailgaters. I could do something about the guy that's driving too slow. I could do something about the guy that's erratic. I could do something about people that are closing up that are not staggering traffic. I could do something about everything except the guy that's on my butt. And I'll try speeding up, you know, although a lot of times the reason that we're going so slow is the guy in front of me is going so slow because the guy in front of him is going so slow. And you look 1 or 2 cars up, there's somebody there with huge space of nothing in front of him, tootling along in a nice, I'm scared to drive, but I have to get to work. See, we really need better transit. If we had adequate people movers in the city, then people who are afraid to drive wouldn't have to drive. Then people who are lousy drivers, we could take stronger action against them when they drive poorly, because we wouldn't feel like we're taking away their livelihood when we take away their license. I don't just think I'm a good driver. My driving record shows that I am. I've had almost nothing happen in the one accident that totaled my car. I was on a main thoroughfare at school zone speeds when a guy standing still at a yield sign decided to go forward directly in front of me on a day when there was no traction. It was just polished snow, like shiny, slippery, polished snow, the worst kind of slip. Sam in the background is bobbing his head up and down like, yep, I remember that. He wasn't there. Timmy was there, and Timmy was completely unshaken by it. It totaled my car, but we were fine and the airbags didn't go off. It was such a slow speed crash. But because I was trying to maneuver, you know, I saw the guy coming, and so I hang a quit right, hoping to just, you know, miss him. And so I wound up, instead of hitting him from the front, I hit him from the side like this. I'm like, because I just slid sideways into him as he continued to drive forward into my path. And it cracked the fenders on both front and back, as well as taking out one of my front wheels and the attached bits. And because people think that smart cars are cheap little econo boxes like an old Honda Civic or an old VW Rabbit, they don't value them highly enough. If this had been a $50,000, $60,000 truck, then the $10,000 estimate from the body shop would have been covered by the insurance company. But because the insurance company considered the car to be worth $6,000, they totaled it. What we did is we took the $6,000, we bought the car back for $1,800. That too I thought was pretty rude. Imported a car from Edmonton, a parts car, for $1,000, including transporting it here, and used the parts to fix the car, and then took panels from my car and that car into the body shop and had them painted. Well, this video's over because Dan's home, so see you later. Bye-bye.